anybody doesn't want to be on YouTube, talk to her. If anybody does want to be on YouTube, talk to her. And if you don't talk to her, she'll probably talk to you. And one final request is, the text did not provide me with a music stand. Does anybody want to stand here awkwardly and hold my lyrics in front of me because I don't remember them?
We're trying to get one. We're still looking for one.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And thank you, I appreciate that. What was that? I know that's feedback. What was it from?
I think it's too close.
Yeah, besides the forgotten music stand, I also forgot to bring my ukulele with the DI. So, a year and a half ago or so, Jonathan Colton and Amy Mann were hanging out, as they do, and they asked ChatGPT for typical Jonathan Colton song titles, which Amy then wrote. The song title Amy Mann chose to write is The Ballad of Captain Quark, or Captain Quark for the rhymes. And it goes a little bit like this, but not a lot like this because I'm not good. This is the ballad of Captain Quark. He's tired when things are hectic. Color confinement on the mark. He's a particle who's electric. Captain, oh Captain, though some may think you're an atom, you're the building blocks of a hadron. This is the ballad of Captain Quark. They said he had great potential. He's up and he's down, but he's got a spark. He's a particle who's essential. Captain, oh Captain, while protons get lost and scattered, you're a fundamental matter. Thank you to my music stand. Someone I know has a song about a human mic stand. It's called Mic Stand by Word Quartet. And this was, of course, a song for Captain's Day. And in honor of Captain's Day and in honor of that song, I would like to invite Captain Quark, aka Angela Brett, up on the stage, please. Jonathan G., you're on deck.
Hello.
Hello!
So, I really like particle physics, so when I heard that song, I knew I had to be Captain Quark for Captain's Day this year. And I've actually printed out some cards that have the lyrics on one side and an explanation about quarks on the other side. You can come up to me later and I can give you some. I also have some pins and magnets from CERN that have particles on them. So come talk to me if you want one. So one of the things I didn't get to mention on this card, because it's fairly small, it's like a postcard I can show you, is that you actually can't get a single quark by itself. That you can only get them in groups of, basically groups of either 3 quarks or 1 quark and 1 antiquark. And the reason that is that their quarks are held together by particles called gluons. And the gluons are actually also attracted to each other. So if you try to pull a quark away from the other quarks that it's hanging out with, instead of the gluons just kind of scattering everywhere and making a nice inverse square law, they all kind of bunch together, and you get this thin tube of gluons pulling the quarks back together, and the more eventually you put so much energy into trying to pull them apart that energy turns into a quark and an anti-quark pair, because energy can turn into matter. That's what E equals mc squared means. And so then the quark goes one way, the anti-quark goes the other way, and you end up with groups of 2 or 3, like how they like to be. And the only way you can get a quark that can just do whatever it likes is to have them really close together, and then they're not attracted to each other anymore. Bad relationship joke goes here. And that's called a quark-gluon plasma, where you have a whole lot of quarks that are so close together that they can just pretty much move around freely. That only really existed in the very early universe and in some particle colliders. And the other thing that happens when you get, it takes a lot of energy to keep them together like that. The other thing that happens when you have that much energy in one place is that, as I mentioned, energy can turn into matter, into like matter and antimatter, and then when matter and antimatter meet each other, they turn back into energy again. But when there's energy everywhere, you just have a whole lot of matter and antimatter floating around, and it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like if you have laws where the penalty for breaking the law is you pay a fine, but everyone's really rich, so there's so much energy that the antimatter just sticks around, and the matter hangs around with it, and it appears and disappears all the time. So this is all just a really long lead up to a very short poem. I'm kind of doing a pull and storm thing here. So the only place where you get this kind of thing happening is either the very early universe or in particle accelerators, such as the Large Hadron Collider, not to be confused with the Large Hadron Collider as it is written in some of the drinks menus. I was reading some papers from when they were first thinking about what's the next collider going to be at CERN, and it was the collider that ended up being called the Large Hadron Collider. But in some of the early papers, it was called the Juratron because it passes under the Jura Mountains, and the Jura Mountains are also known for being where a lot of dinosaur fossils were found. I've actually seen some dinosaur footprints being excavated there. So that's what the Jurassic period was named after. So I was thinking, we have Jurassic Park is where we can go and see dinosaurs like in the distant past. You could consider that the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider, is kind of like a Juratron Park where particles can go to see what it used to be like way back in the early universe. So this is a poem I wrote called Juratron Park. If you pine for the mystery before Noah's Ark, we've remade prehistory at Juratron Park. Come atoms, come molecules, see what you were back then. Come out for a frolic, you'll spin unperturbed again. Those that wander will find, in their memory lane walks, they're no longer confined to a group of 3 quarks. Before we were 3, we were free from our tether, and though we were free, we were closer together. We loved antimatter. We were one, annihilation to meet and to natter about CP violation. So come to a place that's more bright than the sun, where we'd meet face to face, before they lost and we won. Then back where you're from, bound together by force, go back to your compound to never divorce. Compounds, it should be. We don't all get on. Talk is charged and polemical, but each baryon has its place in a chemical. If protons complain, then you reach in and tell them. In truth, we all gain when we're each in our element. You're not vexed when you seek unified universe, but you know you're unique when divided, diverse. Make the world have this aim, make the world we're indifferent. The more we're the same, the more we're indifferent. So come see me if you want the handout about quarks or some CERN pins or wristbands or magnets.
I'll get that. Oh, that's not good. Captain Quark. Captain Quark, aka Angela Brett.
I think that is my, what's it called?
Oh, it's a TR.
Oh, okay.